major mistakes, major inconsistencies with the French, with the first map that ever depicted the boundaries of the state of Lebanon. This is just an example. The map was never really used as an authoritative map afterward, but it gives you an indication of how clumsy was the manner in which the boundaries of Lebanon were determined, and this is this first map that shows it very, very clearly. This anomaly, by the way, never repeated itself. Ghajar in no other map but this one appears as the tri-border spot, as you can see here. This spot itself, where the three boundaries of Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine converge. I fast forward. I could have brought you hundreds of, no, I exaggerate, dozens of maps to make my point. I only brought two. This is a French map that places Ghajar inside Syria. This is the Golan Heights. This is Sheba Farms. You see here the boundary, and Ghajar is placed inside Syrian Golan Heights. A British map from the same time period, a better map. The British, in general, were much better cartographers than the French. They produced, they were much more efficient than the French in drawing maps. Ghajar here is inside Lebanon and not in Syria. As I said, I could have brought you so many other maps, French maps that alternate. Sometimes Ghajar would be in Lebanon, other times in Syria, or British maps that did the same. Extreme inconsistencies with regards to the placing of Ghajar, whether in Syria or in Lebanon. I need to make sure that I'm following time here.
You've got lots of time.
Hold on a second. Now I go to the 1963 map of Lebanon. For the first time, we have a new version of the map of the boundary line in Ghajar. This is a Lebanese map from 1963. You see Ghajar here, and the boundary between Lebanon and Syria basically runs exactly through the village. Not only that, all of a sudden there is a village to the north that is called Al-Wazani. I have some guesses about why this map was drawn like this, but this is not a smoking gun evidence. I will share with you my calculated guesses or calculated thinking about this. And there are two events that I think we should take in mind about 1962 and 1963 that may have been responsible for the creation of this version. First, in 1962, Lebanon or Lebanese cartographic system goes through an overhaul. They realized that they were not too efficient previously, and they reorganized their entire cartographic system. And the product of that is the creation of a new set of maps of 1 to 50,000, 1 to 20,000, much better quality than previous maps. And there is, in general, a project of remapping Lebanon, done by Lebanese cartographers, mostly within the context of the Lebanese army from 1962 onwards. This map is a product of this new venture of map making. The second point that I would like to make is that in 1962 and 1963, Lebanon and Syria engaged in discussions about sharing their waters. There were three rivers that were on the agenda. One was Nahar al-Kabir in the north, basically the boundary line between Syria and Lebanon all the way up north. One was the Orontos in the east, northeast, in the Bekaa. And the third one is the Hasbani, this one, that you see here. All three rivers were on the agenda. They discussed these three rivers. Then comes this map. This map, if you look very clearly, puts Al-Wazani, which is here. Not Al-Wazani village, river, sorry. Not Al-Wazani village, but Al-Wazani springs inside Lebanon, rather than inside Syria. There is a possibility that a Lebanese cartographer with good initiative said, I'm going to make sure that this spring, which is very, very important, is placed in Lebanon and not in Syria, within the context of the discussions that were taking place in Lebanon and Syria over their shared rivers, Al-Hasbani, Orontos, and Nahar al-Kabir. As I've said, this is not a smoking gun evidence. These are all thoughts that I have that I have reached on my own without finding the one document that actually proves it all. I fast forward again, actually not too fast forwarding, going the same year more or less into this, which is a very, very interesting sketch that I will describe now, which I found here at the National Archives in Maryland. 1960 through the 1950s, 1960s, the U.S., as we all know, has been extremely involved with trying to create a program of water sharing between the riparian states of the Jordan River. In that context, they also monitored everything that took place with regards to water in the Middle East in the context of the Arab-Israeli conflict. In February 1962, the Lebanese embassy in Beirut receives a message that the Syrians are digging a diversion canal in the Wazani, just here. They build a dam, and that they plan to take to build a canal that would divert water into this area of Nukheile, another village in the tri-border region. They send their people. They also get assistance from the people of Tepline, the Trans-Arabian pipeline that worked in this region. You see Tepline here, Tepline Arabian pipeline. And after a set of inquiries, repeating visits into this region, they draw this sketch. Because not only that they find out or they try to inquire about who is actually trying to divert water from the Hasbani, from the Wazani spring over here, but they also figure out that there are some major problems of sovereignty in this region. And they come up with this conclusion that basically this is a Syrian version of the boundary line. This is a Lebanese version of the boundary line, and that they also make some references about this area here, and that the entire area around the Ghajar is basically a mess in terms of who owns what piece of territory. I will read the final paragraph of the report of the American ambassador to the State Department, which starts like this. In conclusion, it appears that both governments have tacitly accepted the Hasbani-Wazani River as the natural boundary between Syria and Lebanon from a point slightly north of the Wazani Springs. So if the springs are here, so slightly north would be somewhere here. And the new diversion dam to the, slightly north of the Wazani Springs, and the new diversion plan to the Israeli frontier. It is equally clear that neither government wishes to raise the issue of possibly conflicting claims in this region, or to formal boundary adjustments. On the contrary, both appear anxious to let sleeping dogs lie. This is where I took the title of my article from, Let Sleeping Dogs Lie. If you look at the sketch, and you look at the blue line, you also find very, very interesting cases of comparison. This is the Syrian version, and I argue that the Syrian version would be very close to this road here, that basically includes the entire village under Syrian control, de facto control at least. This is where the Wazani Springs are, over here. This is where the Wazani Springs are, over here. This you can still see, if you can see here, the road, the Marja Ayun Banyas road, the old one, and you can still see leftovers of this road here. This would be the turn off to Ghajar that you can see here. In fact, if you juxtapose the sketch and the map one on top of the other, you get the sense that at least, according to Tepline reports, the US ambassador, and the information that they gathered in 1963, this area here was under Syrian control, and that it was simply part of the village of Ghajar, not yet constructed or at least most of it was not yet constructed.